right, baby, we are back in action with these map remakes. This one is, what do I call this map? Intro underscore level 6. This is where you get the second half of the portal gun off the dual handheld portal device. This was a very strange map remake because there's a lot of, like, moving pieces and stuff. Let me just pick up the second half here so that this shuts up. Again, most
Is that an
assets
airstrike?
to a map
Yes.
of for the Prospect era, we have like most of the assets. So like this pedestal is taken from, I believe it's zoo underscore test area, which I think is a 2005 map. Might be like, no, yeah, 2005. These frame parts here are from zoo test area as well, I think. The textures are all textures that were certified used from the era, 2005 that is. This texture right here, actually, I believe comes from the leaks off of the Portal Project Beta thing. All that stuff coming out. It's pretty interesting, actually, because I don't think this floor texture is seen anywhere else. It's pretty much just a combined metal wall texture with some tile things on it, but it's still pretty cool. This, of course, is also an accurate model here. But the main issue with this map, when trying to figure out how it should look, comes from the shape of this chamber. And that mostly comes from the fact that we knew that this chamber was in 2005. We knew that there was a Prospect era version of it. There were no pictures or anything to sort of discern what it would have looked like, and there were some very confusing leftover bits that we did have. So for starters, the map itself, like the map file that was released, includes an unused viz group for a bunch of different lights. These might have, well, they probably actually were from Aperture era, but I included them anyway. It's just lights that shoot off in various different directions. But in addition to that, found on a completely different map than this map's map file were these brackets, which the light brackets, they actually had in the name that they were from room 7, this chamber. This is intro level 7. So what I kind of had to do was figure out how this room would be shaped in the way that it is. A little bit busted still, but that's okay. Essentially, what I decided on was having it shaped in this way. Over here, there's this curved wall in the final game, or at least in the 2006 version of the map, that is a little bit further back. I just pushed this forward, and then I made sort of slanted corners for all of these different walls, even up over here, which kind of makes it hard to see where the portal over there is. You could tell why it would have been changed if this is how it looked, but obviously it's not too big of a problem for people who are who will be playing this remake when I finally release them off, because obviously everyone who's going to be playing this remake are probably already pro Portal players. This room was interesting, so I sort of just decided to change how the lighting, or not the lighting, how the textures look last minute, but the room itself, pretty much the same, although obviously there's this big change I had over here to make this bulge out and fit the brackets for the lights here. Let's see. The texture down here is the old Half-Life 2 texture. Actually, if I were to give myself God mode, I'll do that really quick. The textures found underneath, these are also textures that were found in the leftover remnant parts of, I believe it was lab level 4, which became...
I can taste this floor.
What, this juicy floor down here?
Yeah.
This sludgy floor that makes these goopy sounds?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these textures, I believe, were in lab level 4, which later became the chamber 18, I think? Whatever the second to last chamber is. These obviously are just the finals observation decks. I replaced all the models and textures with the models and textures that you would expect to see in the 2005 era versions of these rooms. Same goes for this room, same goes for this one over here. So this spot right here was interesting. I actually haven't implemented the elevators yet, but whatever, I'll get around to that eventually before piecing it all together into a mod. The elevators, no, don't matter. This room specifically is what I want to focus on. So this, in the final game, obviously, in the final 2007 Portal, there's sort of like an observation thing that's like pushed out of the wall, sort of like the glass boxes at the top of the Sears Tower in Chicago. But I had figured, because of how the brackets looked, among other things, that it was probably just the entire wall was out this far. And I didn't push this out because I thought, nah, whatever. I might actually do that before releasing this. I might push this out so it goes up to here. But in either case, it's a minor detail. So that is that, and everything here works pretty much as it should. Again, everything that is being seen here is genuinely error-accurate stuff, except for this button here. They don't have a error-accurate rendition of these pedestal buttons, but I'm sure I'll find something at some point. Last thing I want to showcase is this here. So it's actually said in the developer commentary for this map that before they had a pedestal button, they had a button that you had to stand on here. And the reason why they changed that was because players had associated these buttons with cubes. So whenever they saw this, they wouldn't recognize that they needed to shoot a portal through that door. They would go off and look for a cube and eventually just fall into the acid pit like idiots. But again, obviously, this would make it more accurate if the button is here like this, so pop them in here. Anyway, I think that just about does it. There's only a couple of maps left I have to remake, I think. Test Chamber 19, obviously, was one that was made back in this era. Companion Cube Chamber, need to figure out how to go about doing that one with the complete and total lack of info we have on it. And I'm sure there are a few others. But until then, I have been Wolf Clock. Thank you for watching.